Got it. Awesome. So welcome everybody. We're back and we're on page 79 with real life scenario 3. And this scenario starts off with you are the founder of a direct to consumer kelp noodle company. Although you believe your kelp noodles are a popular trend and a healthy alternative to spaghetti, you've gotten very little traction so far. You've worked for 7 years, spent your money on the business, money you saved up from your previous job, but haven't been able to raise outside capital. You have $13,000 in your bank, and you have $13,000 in your bank after starting with 2016, 200, I'm not good, Lord Jesus, 200K basically, okay? 200K. What do you do? And so, yeah, take it away, Erica. What would you do?
Okay. Oh,
Is that how last week, right?
Well, that's kind of like the format we were doing before, and then I did kind of like read a little bit on this one, but what would I do? I don't know. It's like back to the drawing board at that point, but it's like it's so torn because I did kind of peek ahead at this one, so I kind of like know which two ways that it could go, but
Yeah, Lord, let's get into that.
well, yeah, okay. So there's one way where you can go back to work and go back to the job that they quit to build their company. And it's so crazy because it's kind of relatable because I recently have been on an endeavor where I was pretty much putting my all into it and then realized that it probably wasn't gonna work out. I mean, I do believe that the company's gonna grow and be successful, and that's all great and everything, but it's just that I'm not going to be included in that. So therefore, it's not a loss technically, but it's still like a lesson. But I mean, he could take all of his knowledge that he's gotten, go back into the corporate world, and start back on the adventure of saving up again, and then trying it again with a different route. But then there's the flip side that you know I mean, okay, so going back into that corporate world, you're gonna have to be full of you gotta have to be very humble because you're gonna have a lot of people that already knew that it wasn't gonna work out, which kind of similar to like there's a lot of people that just knew things weren't gonna work out to be what they are or were planning to be and stuff like that. That's a lot that have to take on. So you have to have your mindset right because otherwise you'll start getting into bouts of depression and feeling down and out and sad. And it's literally you should be taking situations like that for what it's worth, the lesson, because it's not like the game is over. You did that, you know how to do it, so therefore you can do it again. But then there's a more I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and I want to run here. But
I love it.
There's a flip side, another side to that. So it's like, okay, so it started going back to work, and then all of a sudden, what is it?
Noodle company.
Kelp noodle company kelp noodles become very popular. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about it now. It's like, what if he just would have stuck it in and just kept going and just stuck it out? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, either way, there's a choice to be made, and either way, there's going to be like a cause to that choice. In my situation, I probably, if I didn't see okay, so with this situation, just extracting like my personal, because on my personal, I'm like, okay, well, things happen. Oh well, it'll be all right moving forward. Okay, but then like just putting myself directly into this, I probably would have just like kept on going just a little bit longer because if you really believe that's your passion, that's your heart, that's what you want, you know what I'm saying, to get done and accomplish, then go to the very last drop. I mean, yeah, there's all kind of just I don't know. There's different ways to figure it out, different ways to put yourself in, vicinities of people that may have a similar interest or something like that. I was talking about that with my therapist. Therapist report, I think I did. But anyway, I was talking about my therapist, and she was like, we were talking about being of service, and like, because I've been talking about getting like involved with community things and stuff like that, just trying to, like get my mind right and get back on, like, get back to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I didn't say this is all about me. We'll be talking about the book, but
no, I'm feeling it. No, get into it. All good.
she was like, surround yourself with people that have the similar mindset as you do. Like that way, I mean, like I have been doing that, of course, like on my Web3 world, but as far as my in real life, I feel like very, in solitude, except for like when I, go out or, treat myself to a day after like that. But like I'm not really like forming relationships in real life with people with similar mindsets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Same though.
that's
And
something that can
yeah,
do.
I feel that.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was saying I feel that because I think, but also too, I think, I don't know if it's because of the time we're in or what, but like me in person, like it's very much solitude, it's family and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because out here, especially being in Beaumont, yeah, that's okay. And I think at least we have that bit. For me, like my being aligned with people with a good mindset comes from the Web3 space being one, and but also two books, like, you know what I mean? Like that's also a great way, and listening to podcasts, to put yourself on a different frequency. But yeah, I totally agree to the scenario 3 concept, man. Like, first off, failed at a lot. You know what I mean? So like been there, done that 3 times, got the t-shirt, all of that. Meaning like when I first decided to start a business. So I went right after I had nail. I had went back into work for maybe like 3 months, maybe less. Couldn't stand it. Started the business. Realized that I was going to have to go work at Dunkin'. Went to work at Dunkin' Donuts and knew that okay, this was going to be temporary, and I was going to quit and then try to do my own thing. But it's like always like constantly realizing like at the end of the day, none of those places will make me happy because that's not really ultimately what I wanted to do. And so first of all, I don't know who has $13,000 to save up to begin with, let alone 216,000.
This was an
No.
amplified scenario because it's not
Exactly.
that relatable.
That ain't my surroundings. That's for
Right.
sure.
Maybe 1,300.
Right, exactly. So let me tell you, exactly, for real. And that 1,300, she worked for that. Let's believe it, So, like, in all actuality, and why we do this is to really bring it to people who are similar to us in a sense of like, I think whether it's 13,000, 1,300, let's say you did lose that much, it needs to go back into outsourcing. So let's say you are going to go back to work, outsource and have somebody help you run that business, whether it's finding an administrative assistant from out of the country who can work, $4 or $6 an hour, which is a good wage for them. Or let's say if it's 10, you know what I mean? And you really want them to live above, depending on what the country is that they're based in. But all to say, so that when you do go back to work, it's not you by yourself. And hopefully with the 200K, it wasn't you by yourself either. Like, it can still go, the business can still keep going. I would do whatever it took to keep that business going at some sort, if it is your passion. But I think that comes also down to like making sure that whatever business you want to start and get into, it cannot just be for the money. Because yeah, you dip real quick. And I've done that with other businesses too, outside of this one, where it wasn't my passion and I couldn't stay committed for 2 seconds, it felt like, and so of course that's why it didn't work out. And so yeah, if you have to make sure that you have a solid foundation and that you believe in what you're doing, and like tell that to yourself often, because oftentimes you'll forget. So I'm sad. And then also, yeah, just the same thing. I would invest that money to get some help. And if I went back into work, it would be still, the ball will still be rolling. You know what I mean? In some form of fashion. So yeah.
I'm finished. Give me like then. I'm sorry. I have to read. Where are we at?
We're talking about the real life scenario, and to give you some segue, like I just turned a page and had I'm grateful highlighted. That is very important too, where it's like just be grateful too for the journey, because at the end of the day you learned a lot. Like every failure you learn so much from, so much, you know what I mean? So best believe when you do come back into that business or another business, you'll have that lesson, you know what I'm saying? And then you at least took that step to learn those things that you need to learn. And that is really priceless, because you can't learn wanting and wishing. You learn by doing, and you did, you know? So
Right.
that's really, the takeaway.
I like that. You learned by doing and you did.
Yes. But,
Okay. But yeah, and then he jumps into another, I guess that's option one. We kind of like went over that, going back into a job that doesn't excite you. We actually went over like a lot of this. But I guess we'll hit the follow-up question. Um, it says my natural instinct is to be pessimistic rather than optimistic. Optimistic.
mhm.
How do I fix that? I think we already covered that. Look at us.
Yeah, okay. I was naturally very young.
Hanging out with people with, similar mindsets. Hang out with more
Yeah,
optimistic people. The more time you spend with practical optimistic people, the more you will shift your mindset. And then,
exactly. And it helps so much with bounce back, because when you look at, like, I think about Will Smith is a good example, not with his current situation, which I'm sure he'll bounce back too from that. But like, he went completely bankrupt as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you just bounce back. But you have to be around people, really know within yourself, but it helps to be around people who know within themselves. It's just the norm. It's you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, it's
because you
part of
can
it
have
all.
all that like ambition and that goomph to keep going, but then if you're around people that are like, and you
Exactly.
haven't did the work to kind of like get your mindset right to block out the noise and all that, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like,
Mhm.
it's not easy energy to be, like putting yourself around. But yeah.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
guess we'll move on to scenario 4.
Let's move on to 4. Okay, you take it
Oh,
away.
yeah, okay, yeah. You're a mother of 2 children who had a lot of ambition early in your career. After having children, you happily decided to be a stay-at-home mom. One day, your grandmother passes away at 93 after living a long, fulfilling life. You always admired her, and you launched a blueberry jam company as a side hustle inspired by her homemade recipes from your childhood. The business exploded in growth in the first year, but you're trying to balance that with raising your 2 kids, currently 12 and 5 years old. What do you do? Oh, we already discussed this.
Really? This so far back, you know
That's
what I'm
easy.
saying? Right.
Outsource. You just got to take a little less home, and I mean,
Exactly. For real, yeah. Mhm. So, like, to the point, the last part where it says the business exploded in the first year, but you're trying to balance raising 2 kids. Uh, I reposted it a while ago, but Shonda Rhimes basically was giving a commencement speech, and people was like, "How do you do it
mhm,
all?" And she's like, "I don't. If
that
I'm
part.
with my family, I might be missing out on some work stuff. If I'm at work, I might be missing on some family stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yes, technically, I could still be a stay-at-home mom. Male could still be here, but then I wouldn't be able to. So you just gotta be okay with the balance. But definitely, and I posted this yesterday too. You got to set boundaries too. Like, I will not anymore work on like set off days. You know what I mean? Which is like Sunday, that's family day. Saturday, I will do work on Saturdays, or occasionally, like, I'll have a small window, but like I said, that's my time. That's what it is. And in the meantime, like, she's out playing. But then also, like, when it's the evening time, like, make sure that I pour in to her. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when she comes home from school every day, like, I'm present and there for her while she's here. Like, so it's just a part of what do you want, what do you value before anything else, setting those values and that boundary, and then moving forward from there, and being willing to change as need be. So yeah.
Most definitely, I totally agree, and that is a great example with the Shonda Rhimes example. As far as like you're not gonna be able to, you're just not like quit setting that expectation, like quit putting that ceiling that like don't even do that to yourself. That's torture
It
within
creates a
itself.
lot of yeah, yeah. It creates a lot of guilt and remorse, and
That part.
just, yeah, you can't do it all. Like, what is your doing it all looks like? You do that, you'll be good to go, because it's going to be different for everybody. So yeah.
And that's the
And
point.
like you said,
Oh, go
mhm.
ahead. No, I
No,
was gonna
go
say
ahead.
that's why you surround yourself with like-minded people, because if you're around the right people, they see that, you have the right values, and it's more of like, okay, well, maybe, the ball may be, you may not be able to do this, but somebody else is like, okay, well, what can I do? Or can I do this? Or, like something like that. But then you're not, so it's like you don't have that. So you don't, yeah, you get dark quick. But
Definitely.
but
And that's
yeah.
exactly what I speak about with like Mommy Money Flakes, my page, and I'm building it for a community of moms. Like we're literally in that scenario because I just feel like we don't talk about it enough. It's like it's great, and I'm so glad he put this in here. This was the first time actually that I saw anybody talk about a mom trying to start a business because it's totally different. You see so many gurus, even like uh the non-men gurus who are like Oprah Winfrey, and it's like, well, damn, she ain't got no kids, so I feel like I
Right.
can't, you know what I mean? I got kids. What does that look like? And so I appreciate him for putting this in here. But one of my biggest things for having the Mommy Money Plates page is to talk about that, create conversation about that. And it started off as an art piece, an NFT. And so long term, like I really want to build this out to where we're doing, like conferences, and like when you come to the conferences for Mommy Money Flakes, like you can have your kid, sitting there. Because I used to have to bring Nayo out to like different lunch and learns that I would go to for art. When she was like 6 months, and like the only person there, but I knew that I couldn't first of all afford childcare then, and then second of all, like I couldn't, like my partner was at work, like I had to do it. I wasn't going to miss out on my own career growth that I wanted for myself. And so just creating that space, I'm excited to see it here. And that's exactly all to say, like what Mommy Money Flakes is about and will represent long term. But yeah, like it's for practical advice too. Like you said, it's outsourcing. Like I don't make as much because I outsource so much work, but because I outsource so much work, I get more time that I ultimately get to spend with my family, and that makes me happy. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then continuing that cycle, it's going to allow your company or project to grow. Therefore, like it'll all come back full circle. But it's all about
Exactly.
that balance. So 2 scenarios today. Oh, we have a follow up. We have
Oh,
two
yep.
follow ups for scenario 4.
Mhm.
Um,
One says it's tough to feel gratitude when you are in the heat of the moment. How do you do that? Let me see. Okay, wait. Okay, this right here. Let me read I know in these scenarios, I have some
okay.
pretty examples and what ifs, like me dying in a plane, he previously mentioned, or crashed on the way to a conference and your daughter is dying of alcohol poisoning. Okay, right. He mentioned that before. He's saying they may seem too extreme and unlikely, but they are things that actually happen in the world. And I find most of us dwell on the stuff that ultimately doesn't matter because we lose the context of how lucky we are when these extreme events don't happen. Facts, big facts. So I apologize that I've been aggressive so far, but I will continue to be this way because it's my truth. Anyhow, he goes on to say, it's tough to feel, so somebody's follow-up question would be, it's tough to feel gratitude when you're in the heat of the moment. How do you do that? So I think too, in his previous examples, he mentioned like there were a whole bunch of orders and I missed orders and customers were upset. And so he's saying like in that moment, it's tough to feel gratitude. And for example, I went to Miami for my birthday, which was a gift from my partner. And then I went to Vegas to visit family 2 weeks back to back. In the midst of all of that, definitely made a lot of big mistakes actually that I was just because we had a huge overflow in clients that we never had before all at one time. Didn't have that system in place. Now we have that system in place. And so I was glad to learn that learning lesson and it helped make us better overall, but I did end up having to give a refund. Had a very upset client and like she dipped real quick and I don't even, blame her, but all to say like at the end of the day, like it's the gratitude, you know what I'm saying? Like that at the end of the day, when I wake up, everything else is extra. You know what I'm saying? Win or lose, everything else is extra. Is my family healthy? Am I healthy? Yes. Okay, great. We have a roof over our head. Okay, great. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's not even like, I felt like I could have went down a downward spiral of like, oh my gosh, you know, and I felt myself doing it. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst ever. I don't even, do I even know how to run the, have the capacity to run the business? Am I enough? Da, 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 da. And it was like, shh, yes, yes, okay. I even had to watch a video too on like, you know, what to do when you have an upset customer, and that helped a lot. And basically that person said, you know, even this 5-star hotel in New York, he gave an example, and some others examples with Amazon and stuff. He was saying this 5-star hotel that everybody loves has like thousands of 1-star reviews, but everybody will specifically go here, and they charge like tens of thousands a night, but they still have 1-star reviews. You can't please everybody. Sometimes you're gonna fall short. Amazon has done it. Some of our favorite restaurants, clothing place, you name it. You know what I mean? Every place has done it. It's part of business. You move on, you know? So yeah, and you learn from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Your mind on the more positive side of things, and you know, not let those little, I don't say little hiccups, and so because like you said, in the moment they aren't little hiccups.
Right.
They are major hiccups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to cool yourself off. Yeah. Like you're saying, that positive.
Gratitude and perspective of gratitude always on the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
also have a second scenario follow-up question. It's about how can a stay-at-home parent overcome judgment from others when starting a business?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Get into
Gotta block all that out. Like I haven't
yeah.
read that here. I mean, I'm interested to see exactly what he has to say more, but about that. But you gotta block all that out because everybody's gonna have an opinion, and that's why you already gotta have your mind made up. Are you doing this or are you not doing this? Because like right now, but I'm not gonna say because I haven't really talked to people, a lot of people here lately. I'm in the middle of a call. You can't keep walking back and okay. Anyway, it's my daughter.
It's okay. I know.
But, all right, but oh my gosh, you made me lose my train of thought.
Okay, get back on track because I want to read some of this text here. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay, but yeah, you gotta have your mindset right. Like you can't like for like example, they were like when we were talking about well, we used to talk. Well, I still talk a lot about it when I get a chance to. I don't really have a lot of people to talk to. But I was talking about crypto and all that, or whatever. And I got someone to actually, one of my close friends to actually invest. And I guess they needed a back, and they were like, you know, I mean, this is not starting a business, but this is something that was important and something I'm passionate about, you know. So like they made a little sly comment about it, like kind of being a little scamish because they couldn't figure out how to get their funds, you know, get their money back and stuff like that. And daughter again. Really? Oh my gosh. I gotta do better. I gotta to get a better setup. There she go. Anyway, but it's like, you know, like not everybody's gonna have faith in what you're doing. You have to do what you want to do and how you do it because of what you want to do and the passion that you have for the reason and the passions that you want to do it, that's what you gotta stand on because ultimately you can't just be out here wondering what so and so and so and so think because otherwise you'll always be going in that direction. Let that be the reason. I'm thankful for everything that's happened in my life. But at the same time, uh, I've always been one to always want someone's opinion or, you know, like their input and stuff like that. Not to say that it's a bad thing or that they steer me wrong or anything like that, because ultimately I'm a grown woman, you know, whatever case may be. But I always rely on others to kind of make that final decision for me. So I've been like lately not allowing that, like kind of like standing on my own. I think this was really important when it comes to like entrepreneurship and anything that you do, anything that you want to do. Like you are the builder of your life. You are the one who sets the course. You are the one that stops it. You are the one that pauses it. You can pull people in to be a part of your show. You can take people out. You're the director, executive producer, all of that main character. Like I'm learning. So like when it comes to that, like it's a mindset. It's a mindset. People are gonna have their thoughts and their opinions and things like that. And you just gotta know what you're doing it for. You're wise and keep on moving.
Exactly. 100%. I totally agree. And on that note, I think that is a perfect place to end. Positive place to end. I love it.
I swear, did you see Zoom pop up on you? Got 10 minutes.
Okay, no,
I
I didn't, but I felt it, honey. You ain't get no money yet, okay? Sponsorships in the future, maybe y'all can just give it to us for free. But
Put it on the list. No.
So okay, so yeah, we'll continue next week with page 90, scenario 5. Looking forward to that, and thank you all for watching. Ding.